Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm raising the clock. Even in my feelings, grind don't stop. Got big dreams, want big rocks. I got plans, you got talk. Heard it's real cheap, but it's really gon' cost. I'm tryna get these ends, building empires with my friends. I'm about handling my business. No time for stress over bullshit. You think success is an option? I'm tryna get this shit poppin' like woo. Big moves, my rules. Y'all heavy on the tweeting. I'll disappear a whole season like woo. Who said they looking for me? I'ma make you.
Hey, DeMarie TV family. So everything I say is alleged. It's in my opinion and it's for entertainment purposes only. Forgive my voice. I'm a little bit under the weather again. But I just wanted to hop in and speak to you guys really quickly about Destiny Payton and her interview with My Future Wifey podcast. Destiny Payton is someone who is never transparent. She is a liar. She is constantly bending and twisting the truth. And she's not somebody that I find likable at all. I see through her. You know, like we've been watching this for a minute now. And I'm pretty sure most people at this point see through her, but I don't think she understands that people see through her. Destiny is somebody who will quote scripture all day. She'll tell you, I know you know the word. It's not about, hell, Satan knew the word, okay? He knew the word. He know the word better than all of us. He was an angel. It doesn't mean that you practice that in your everyday life. It doesn't mean that you implement the principles behind that word in your everyday life. I think in 2024, it's going to be very hard for people who want to hide behind church and scripture and praise and all that, but do dirt to keep with the same routine. Nobody's buying that dance anymore. Everybody's looking at how you treat other people. That's what people are looking at. I don't think Destiny understands that we can tell how she's moving based on the things that are happening to her. That's called a law of attraction. It's life. You want to know when somebody ain't quite right and ain't doing right? Shit just keeps happening to them. And it's not by happenstance. It's happening because you are doing things to draw that negative attention to you. You're contributing to those problems. You're manifesting those problems in your life because you're giving the negativity out and it's just coming back in waves and kicking your ass. That's how this works. It's not enough to stand up and quote a scripture here and get on podcasts with your friends and talk about, how strong you are and how much you can handle because you one of God's strongest soldiers. God is not asking you to put yourself in the stuff that you put yourself in. You doing that. God is not telling you to move how you moving. You doing that. God didn't tell you to post Mel's kids on Beyonce's internet with that gutter snipe sitting at that table, knowing what she's done to her kids, and them as a family. God didn't tell you to do that. You did that. And guess what? There is a consequence to that behavior. There's a price to pay for that. You can't do things like that and think shit ain't gonna come back on you. So I believe she's blatantly out here just lying. I think she feels like she's gonna do this little campaign to do some damage control, speak good about Love Marriage Huntsville for a few seconds, and then Carlos is going to let her back on the show. And she may have very good reason to believe that's going to happen. But I don't believe her intent for Melody Rogers would be good. I don't believe she has no good intentions for her. And based on that alone, it's going to fail. Because no weapon formed against her, Melody Rogers, her children, us, the millimeters, myself, none of it's gonna prosper. We've been windmilling out here in these YouTube streets for Melody and these kids for years at this point. If that's the fight you want to keep having, have it. Go ahead, knock yourself out. We all know how this ends. And it damn sure ain't gonna be you coming on that show acting a fool. We not gonna do that. And if you choose to do that, then you deal with the consequences. I'll let y'all kind of hear my recap of the interview and what she said, but essentially that's how I feel about it. It put a bad taste in my mouth, and I'm just not here for these people playing. We had a semi-good season with regard to Melody Rogers. Melody Rogers is doing the things. She's modeling. She's a business owner who is thriving, and we love participating in that. We love that we are taking our hard-earned Black money, paying into a Black business and watching it benefit a Black family, a single mother with 4 children. We love that. We love putting on our hoodies in the morning and going to take a walk and representing and understanding and standing in the message across our chest. We love that. That's for us, by us. That's us. That's us. We are in a cycle that works for us, and we not gonna let nobody or nothing come in between that. What we got when she drop a J Bolin line and I'm sitting up here buying outfits, honey, I can't even fit. Baby, on this elliptical, trying to get my life right, that's God. That's God, okay? Because I'm gonna get in this here yellow outfit and I will not look like Big Bird. That's what we talking about. That's what we own. Okay, you see how it's all positive? She dropped outfits I am in love with. J Bolin killing me. But you know, I got in it. It just don't look quite right. So I'm gonna lose me a good couple pounds to get in the outfit. That is all things working for the good of everybody. Ain't no gutter snipes in it. Ain't no mess in it. Ain't nobody unhappy. Ain't nobody being messy. We're celebrating each other. We're feeding positivity into each other's lives. It's never that with Destiny Payton. Never. And until she understands that, and until Martell understands that, they're going to keep going through the shit they're going through. Point blank, period. People say birds of a feather flock together. That's a simple way of saying law of attraction is real. Just like there's a kinetic energy between Melody and the millimeters, that same energy exists between the hateful and the evil and the haters and the gutter snipes and the coleslaws of the world. They tend to flock together. They tend to find people who are like-minded people. And that is who they gel with. That is who they connect with. So she can do all the interviews she wants. I'm going to recap the interview. She's telling some interesting information. Would have loved it if she had told it on the reality show she was on. It baffles me why we learn so much about Destiny in interviews, but you never, ever knew anything about her on Love and Marriage Huntsville, or at least it did baffle me until I understood her producer was. Her producer never gave a shit about showing who she really was or telling her stories about her background and her history, because she attracted a producer who is just like her producer was a straight up coleslaw. And she's sitting at the table with this woman taking video of her giving Martell 40-year-old ass a birthday party at the Cheesecake Factory with the kids looking like they can't wait to be somewhere else. Crazy. Take a listen and let me know what y'all think on the other end. Today, Destiny had an interview on Dear Future Wifey, and the interview is episode, I believe it's 802 of the podcast, and it's titled Locked Up for Love. And so Destiny is kind of doing what Destiny does. She tends to get in interviews and on podcasts, and she reveals all this stuff about who she is and what she's gone through, but you never got any of that on Love and Marriage Huntsville. But she goes into kind of her childhood, how she grew up, had a very difficult childhood, spent some time in foster care, was, molested, touched inappropriately. She lost a brother in a very violent way. All these things that you hear nothing about on the show, but it gives you kind of an insight into who she is and how she behaves the way she does. So with respect to that, I thought it was very interesting. She talks about growing up without her mother, growing up with her father after she comes out of foster care. And she also moves into our conversation about LaMarriage. Now, I feel that this is interesting because it doesn't necessarily align with what we've been told. So ever since Destiny got divorced, we were told that LaMarriage served her right after she had the baby. He filed for the divorce and that they couldn't talk about it. Well, I don't know what's changed about that. If it's a gag order, the gag order was it for a certain amount of time, or what changed in which she feels like she can talk about what she identifies as abuse in the relationship now, and she couldn't talk about it then? Was it just that she did not want to talk about it? Did she believe they would get back together? Was she protecting LaMarriage because they had a friendlier relationship at that time? What is it? On this podcast, she talks about going to counseling and being in an abusive relationship, and the counselor letting her know just because you fought back, it doesn't mean it wasn't abusive. And then she talks about it being over then, and she was done and she had to go. But our understanding has always been that LaMarriage divorced her because he would not cleave to her and was too much of a mama's boy. That's the story that she told us for so very long. So it's interesting to hear a different version of what happened today. Today, now that LaMarriage has pressed charges against her and she was arrested publicly for fraud. Now, she also goes into that saying that she was arrested and was on Crime Stoppers because she's been accused of basically signing her name or forging LaMarriage's name to utilities. She says she's never had utilities in LaMarriage's name and that, she's always had her utilities in her name. So we shall see what happens with that whole case. She also mentioned that the detective was saying we usually don't get people on Crime Stoppers, so she believes it was phoned in, and she also believes that, she'll be vindicated because according to her, she is free and clear. She's never, ever had a utility in LaMarriage's name. She's never forged his name on anything. So that case should work itself out soon. She also talks about her love and her relationship with Moses and how she thought Moses was her very dear friend for 15 years, and she thought the producer of Love Marriage Huntsville was her friend as well. She talked about them having times where they would all be together and hang out, and Moses and the producer from Love Marriage Huntsville would say they were people, and so she thought they were cousins. And she was shocked when she found out that they were married. According to Destiny, they're not just engaged, they're married. But they're also supposed to be shopping out a show, and she feels like they're using her for a storyline. Now, we've heard that before. She's claimed, as she did again on this interview, that she's been used for a storyline before, and she tells the same story that she told about Melody, saying that Melody showed up after they had already had a conversation and pretended to be mad at her for a storyline. The host of Dear Future Wifey asked her, would you be willing to come back to Love and Marriage Huntsville? And what Destiny is doing is damage control. She's actually trying to repair her image because she was embarrassed by the arrest, which anyone would be. She was also humiliated when Moses married the producer. She's probably hurting for money. And so now all of a sudden, she would be willing to do Love and Marriage Huntsville again if they told her whole story. Now, previously, her excuse for not doing Love and Marriage Huntsville was there were contractual issues. So have those issues been resolved? Because if they haven't, wouldn't you still have those same contractual concerns? I think what Destiny is doing is she's trying to position herself to go back on this show. I think Martell wants Destiny on this show. I think he is livid that people are not coming for Mel, and that Mel pretty much skated this whole season. She was in very good spirits on the reunion. There's not a lot of drama, and Martell does not like that. I believe Destiny posted the video of his birthday to show that she would film with Ariana and Martell. I believe Stormy would film with Ariana and Martell. And if you have a Stormy, a Destiny, and a Coleslaw all together on Love and Marriage Huntsville, then you can have a reunion where everybody's coming for Mel's neck. I don't trust these people. They're constantly plotting, and I'm not interested in seeing Destiny back on Love and Marriage Huntsville. She does not have anything to offer that is productive. She's surrounded around drama because she keeps it up. You want to live well and be treated well, then treat other people well. The mere posting of Martell's birthday, displaying that video with Ariana and his kids, that shows her true heart. That shows you who she is, even as a mother, as an ex-wife. Why do you think that would be appropriate? So I am not, although Destiny has been through some things in her life, and I don't wish those things on anyone, you also have a responsibility to conduct your own life in a way that is respectable to others and kind to other people. And Destiny is not kind to other people. Destiny's messy, and she likes to keep up shit. And so shit tends to find her. I think that if Martell wants another show with Coleslaw, he can go do that, and he can take Destiny with him. And they can all go find a nice spot on Zeus. I'm promoting Zeus. I really want them all to go there. I want them to go. But if you have not caught the interview, it's Dear Future Wifey. Very good interviewer. But I'm not buying anything she's selling. I don't think this woman has changed an ounce. I think she wants back on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I think people are scheming and plotting because Melody had a very good season and they want to get at her. And so that's what I think is happening. I think this is just her way of saying, hey, this is what happened to me. I wasn't guilty of this. I broke up with Moses first before he married the producer. I don't want to see her on Love and Marriage Huntsville. I feel like if she wants to go do a show, she should do something else. I'm interested in having a show where they're laughing and having a good time and everybody's getting along. It is very, and she talks about being triggered because of her childhood trauma, how triggering some of the scenes were on Love and Marriage Huntsville, so much so that she didn't notice herself. Well, to that I say, are you healed? And if not, why do you want to go back? It doesn't make any sense. So I know that she was upset that LeBerick posted the picture from Tank's birthday party. I know she does not like the fact that Melody and LeBerick are friends. And I just feel like if Destiny comes on this show, it's not going to be for good. It's going to be for chaos and drama. And to be perfectly honest, so many of us are just over that. It's exhausting and nobody wants to see it. So she can start a show somewhere else, or maybe they go pitch something together. Her, Martell, Coleslaw, all of them. She made it a point to say that Martell's the person who called her and said that she was on Crime Stoppers. So I can't imagine what that conversation was like. I can't imagine. Destiny is out here. She's doing damage control and she's letting it be known that she wants back on Love and Marriage Huntsville. What do you all think? Do you want to see Destiny back on the show? Drop me some comments, like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and I'll talk to you guys soon.
Get out the way. Who got a watch? Who got the time? I'm raising the clock. Even if my feelings grind don't stop. Got big dreams.